If you've ever thought about walking away from the safe, familiar path to bet on your creativity, this episode is going to be the push that you need.
And I love that because today we are sitting down with Sammy Wengle, who is the creator of Yap Street. And what Yap Street is it's one of those street style interview game shows where basically he talks to the public in a social experiment type of way, but also to get to know people on the streets and, see people's reactions. And so the thing I love about this is he's not just making content, he's building that community and redefining what authentic creativity looks like in public.
And Sammy Wengle happens to be one of my best friends of 6+ years. I've watched him go through different phases, different experiments, different parts of his life, and seeing what he's doing now and seeing him do something that I feel like he has always been destined to do is such a win as his friend and his supporter. He has always been the type of person to not wait for permission. He will say anything, do anything, and sometimes that could be scary. But what he's doing on his creative journey is building a bold and consistent and refreshingly real place to talk to people.
And that's what I love about Wangle as well, is because if you know him, and by the end of this episode, you will, he is such an open, creative, fun person. And the stuff he does is unconventional, but it's who he is. And the thing I love about that is he takes rejection so well. And so one of the huge things we dive into in this episode today is rejection and how he overcomes talking to the public, talking to people, random people on the street, and a little bit about rejection therapy and how he overcame that in his journey, right? And again, using creativity as an outlet to transform his career.
So, whether you're a creator, a dreamer, or somebody who just wants to reconnect with your own voice, you're going to leave this episode feeling inspired and seen.
So let's get into it with the brilliant and wildly entertaining Wangle. Welcome to Embodiment.
Hello, spiritual bodies, driven entrepreneurs, and everyone in between. Welcome to Embodiment, who you are behind closed doors, the podcast where we explore the truth of who you are beyond the surface.
I'm Emmanuel Tsiris.
And I'm Ashley Fry.
Together, we dive into mindset, self-discovery, and the magic of aligning with your highest self. If you're chasing dreams or leveling up spiritually, this is for you.
Okie dokie, guys. We've got my best friend, my crazy clown, raised by clowns, Mr. Sammy Wengle, or as
Oh my God, should I put
call
on the wig?
No.
Oh, okay.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, because I was like thinking, I was like, maybe I'll put on the wig.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, we'll leave it. We'll leave it.
So let's jump right in. Let's jump right into how or what you're doing right now. Okay, you just started Yap Street.
Wait, before that,
Yes.
Wangle, could you give a little bit of background on like what you've done in the past, like who you are as a
Okay.
person?
That
So growing up, I was raised by like my mother was a clown, so like I grew up in like a very performative background. So I did a lot of like crazy shit. And then like as I got older, like I was the youngest child, so I always wanted attention. So I was always doing things to get attention. So I would like dress up as mimes at school. I would dress up as clowns, and I would just show up without telling anybody. And that was like my first like YouTube start. Like I used to watch like a ton of David Dobrik, and I was like, okay, I want to do that type of stuff. So I was like, let me emulate that and do my own vlog. So that's the first time I ever did YouTube was like back in high school. And I did my own vlogs, but honestly, they weren't that good. And I was like, whatever.
they're
But
still on
then
the internet today.
they're still on the internet today.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure you can still watch them on my old channel. I can't remember if I hid them, but I used to do that. And then I was like, COVID happened like a couple years after that. And I was like, I can't do stand-up comedy anymore. What can I do to like get out there? I was like, let me try interviews, like on the street type of stuff, because I love that. So started doing those. I had a show called Sammy on the Sidewalk, and I did that for about like 6 months. Then COVID got more intense, and I did the whole Omegle video route, like to put my stuff out there. And then I just had to stop completely because of um I couldn't keep up with it anymore with school. I basically just like kind of gave up on it and decided I was like done with social media. And then after I finished all of that, I was just focusing on school. Then I started serving. I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then about a month and a half ago, I quit my job and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give social media a chance again, but like full time. So now
Mhm.
this is all I'm doing for the next technically technically 5 months now, but I gave myself 6 months to do it. And we're in about 1 month now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I kind of got to
Woo!
here, and now I'm back on the street doing game show interview type of stuff. So instead of Sammy on the sidewalk, it's just Yap Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
And
love to see it.
yeah, actually trying to come up with that name, that was like a pain in the ass because I was like brainstorming a bunch of different names. I was like, Yap Talk or like talk on the sidewalk or like figuring out different like quick names. I wanted something that could just be a single name, but the issue
Catchy.
is most of the names are already taken on Instagram, but it's not just like, oh, can I have it on Instagram? Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah.
So
It's gotta
finding
be
a
across
username that was
all.
going to be available is kind of tough. And then I was like, what could I do that's like on the street where it could be open, where it's not just like interviews, but I could do just all kinds of stuff within the street world. And I was like, oh my God, what about yapping? And I was
Which
like,
you are great at.
yeah, which I'm good at.
You are
Like, you don't
so
even have to
great
ask
at.
me questions. I'll just keep talking.
Certified yapper.
Exactly. And then, so I made Yap Street. And then this is actually, well, now it's kind of like ripped, but this is like the first
Yeah,
thing I've
because
made.
people were grabbing at it
Yeah.
on
So like,
Saturday night.
so I had to like cut off the ends because it made it longer. And then actually, I got, I got like a 3D printer and I 3D printed a new flag. This is what
Oh,
this
you
is.
did?
So I'm gonna put, so you see how like this one is like kind of smaller? Originally the logo was further down. So I'm gonna put that
Mm.
on here so it's like all good and then you put the mic in and then
For
that's pretty
anybody
much
who's
that.
listening, for anybody who's listening, he's showing
Oh
us.
yes.
Yeah, it's unfortunately podcast too, right?
Yeah.
So when he walks around on the streets, he's got his little mic and he actually configured this from scratch. He had an old, was it a Rode mic?
So I had a mic. It was actually called the Hollyland mic. It's the one if you're watching on the video, the one that I'm wearing right now. But the mic itself, I 3D designed something. So like this, they have like a microphone holder that's meant for the Rode mics.
Yeah.
But my mics were circular and there was no way of attaching them. So I 3D designed like a little piece that you could essentially slide into the same slot where the Rode goes, and then I can have my own mics. So
It
essentially
would
just built up my own thing.
Yeah, when Mano, it would be like taking your mics or like the
Yeah.
DJI ones and 3D printing something to hold one of those. Like
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
using a lav mic, right? Which is
Yeah.
Yeah.
really cool. I think that's awesome. It's called innovation at its finest, right?
Yeah. Well, that was the
Entrepreneurship.
main thing too. Like, I find that sometimes, like, I used to have a way more expensive equipment. Like, when I used to do interviews, I bought expensive equipment and I had like my setup was around like eight, nine, actually more. I got it on sale, but it's like $1,300 worth of equipment just for sound stuff. You have a transmitter with the microphone, and then you have a receiver, and that whole setup was really expensive because you need, we call it like in the industry, it's like a butt plug, but essentially it's like this little adapter that goes into most like microphones, like your basic singing microphones, you just plug it in so you can do wireless. And I bought that setup and I realized it was a pain in the ass to set up each time. Whereas I got these like simple mics, no wires, no nothing, no changing batteries, like everything's always charged. And that's also what I realized when you're getting back into content or like getting into something. Simple, stupid, easy. Don't overcomplicate it if you don't have to, right? Because
Simplicity is an advanced course.
yeah, yes. This is the first time hearing this, but I agree. Um, but that was one of the main things I realized in order to get back into this. It was like, if I'm gonna, and I'm also uploading videos like 3 times, well, every day, like 1 to 3 times a day, right? So
Mhm.
that
You've
last week
been
was like three.
consistent.
Yeah, the big thing of being consistent, but also in order to be consistent, you need to create systems for yourself so you can actually achieve it.
So
Yeah.
what kind of
Speaking
systems
my
do you have?
language.
So
What
so
what kind of
far,
systems?
so far the systems that I have been good-ish. Today was a little bit of an off day, but essentially, here's what I do. I realize if I want to post anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day, I can't just be making a new piece, like 3 pieces of content in the same day. It's not realistic.
No.
So I batch shoot content. So what I'll do is I'll go downtown with my filmer. So I have this filmer, her name's Ashley, and she helps film all the videos for me. And we'll do 20 to 25 interviews slash clips. So 20 to 25 different interactions. From those 20 to 25, now I have all these individual clips, and I have enough clips that I can delete the ones I don't really like, and then I'll edit like the majority of them over the weekend or do like a pre-edit, which is just getting rid of all the fluff, the junk, so I have clips that are workable. And
Yeah.
then every day I'll edit around like 3 of them and upload on that basis.
Yeah.
And then that way you can actually stay consistent with it because you're not going out to film every single day. You're getting all the clips, and then over the weekend you're doing the edit, right?
Well,
So you can
and
post throughout the week.
yeah, and the like going out there on Fridays or Saturday nights on King Street is the best time to be out there, right?
Yeah, it's
And
very crazy.
we're also about to hit summertime, which means there's going to be more people outside, which means there's going to be 10 times more content.
So that's actually an interesting point. The cold, filming in the cold versus filming in the warmth is like night and day difference. Like people are way more willing to do interviews when it's warm outside versus when it's cold. Like it's just people want to be outside, they're more excited, they're just happier. That's a big reason why I switched over to originally when I had Sammy on the sidewalk to doing interviews on like Omega, like doing it online because it was way too like it's the middle of winter and it's freezing and people don't want to
Mhm.
stop in the middle to talk
Yeah.
with some dude in a suit.
Can you actually give us a little bit of detail about that? Because I didn't even know that you did Omegle interviews.
Oh
Same.
yeah.
I also
only did
don't even want to know what you ran into on there.
honestly like my experience on Omega was like pretty good. Like I didn't have to deal with like a lot of crazy shit. Like I had some interesting people, definitely like I had some trolls, but I didn't have like the type of content like that Omega was like no, I didn't have like any of that.
Oh,
Like
you didn't.
I didn't have to worry about that stuff. But the main thing was when I was doing I did only about 3 or 4 videos on Omegle, and that was because COVID got super extreme. Like we went into like a more extreme lockdown. This was like 2, 3 years ago or whatever, and it was just way more intense. So I literally couldn't be outside anyways. So that's why I
COVID was
did
5
Omegle.
years ago.
Well, was it 5?
Yeah, so maybe 4 years ago because yeah,
I'm
I'm
trying the
like 3
timeline
years
of all of
old.
it is honestly so lost to me that all that whole time kind of blends together. But yeah,
No,
when I
I
was like
actually I saw a video today saying that COVID was 5 years ago and I went,
Well, what was five
that's
years ago?
not,
That's actually crazy.
yeah.
no, it's nuts. And that was the thing. I was like doing these, and honestly, I just didn't like the Omega ones that much just because they were like, I don't know, it's not the same vibe when you're in person and you're chatting with people, you're doing that. That being said, the nice part about Omega is I could just be in my basement and not have to leave. Like it was made my life a lot easier than having to find a filmer who's gonna film for me for free and be in the cold for 5 hours. Like that's a big thing, especially like if
Yeah.
you yeah, like if you can't find someone to film for you, depending on the content you're making, things become very difficult. And what I realized is you have to ask for a lot of favors.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But you know
oh,
what? I think
yeah.
this is the perfect example of like when your friends believe in you, they'll
Hmm.
help you and they'll support you because like I fully believe in what you're doing and
Hmm.
I'm in a phase of my life right now where I'm very focused on what I'm doing because it's so busy. So I'm like not actively going out or anything, but going out with you to film, first of all, I'm helping you with something that you love doing. And it
Yeah.
kind of fulfills my like lack of social interaction right now as
Yeah,
well,
it's
right? So
definitely makes us more social, that's for sure.
fuck
Well,
yeah.
and then we'll give context. Ashley is now my filmer for Yap Street now, and she
You
films
can
like
call her
every Friday.
videographer.
My videographer,
I
Yeah,
get called
there you
the
go.
fine cameraman.
yeah, the
The
fine
fine
cameraman.
cameraman.
Ashley gets hit on a lot during the videos to a point where I was thinking we need to give just business cards so she can hand them out to people.
Yeah.
Honestly at that I was like, people kept interrupting. I was like, we just need to give them a card or give them something so they know. And that's the other thing with interviews, especially when you're doing drunk, like people who are potentially drunk, 'cause, and like you have crackheads. Like it's different. When I was doing interviews before, I was still doing them downtown, but I was mostly during the day, so people were pretty level-headed. But at night, you have like the crazier sides of people that are coming out and people
Oh,
doing.
oh. We
crazy shit. Like
on
just stuff that's just
Saturday.
oh
No,
sorry, yeah.
on Saturday, I think we had two of the craziest interviews that I've witnessed so far. And
Yeah.
yeah, like
When
We've
do we get
things.
to
had
see? When do we get to see them? When they
well,
come out?
those ones I don't know if I can post. One of them I don't think I can post,
Which
but
one?
I can post the one where I got attacked by the homeless person.
What?
Yeah, no,
So there was one where
no, he
basically
wasn't. He wasn't homeless. He was
it was
just
on the copious amounts of
he was
drugs.
he was coked out, drunk out of his mind, old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
And then
attacked you.
he came up to me and started hugging me, but like he wouldn't let go.
No,
And
he had him pinned up against the wall in
yeah,
the
at one
King
point it
Street
was
tunnel. For anyone listening who knows that tunnel with the drummers, like Wengle was pinned up against the wall by this short old man who, mind you, had just been following us and was like yapping at Wengle about my ass, first of all. Okay.
yeah, for a
Yapping at
while.
Wengle about my ass. And I was like, get me out of here, get me out of here. And we were like on the way out. And then he starts screaming at Wengle, calling him a homo, and then has him
No,
pinned up.
he goes like this. He goes, homo, 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 homo. And I'm like laughing. I'm like, Ashley, start filming. We gotta film this. And she's like, no, we gotta go.
I'm
And I was
like,
like,
get me out of
fine.
here.
But then he grabs onto me and I'm like, Ashley, start filming right fucking now. I'm
And
like,
so it looks like a
we need
scene
to
from
get this.
it looks like a scene from a movie because I've got the drummers in front of me, and then 15 feet ahead of me is Wangle against the wall in the King Street
Yeah.
tunnel with this guy. But like because Wangle's still holding the mic, you can hear every single thing that he's saying to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, he's trying to. I'm dressed as a leprechaun, and he's trying to steal my hat. So that was a whole other thing. But yeah, like we so far, like I feel like considering the amount of interviews I've done, like it hasn't been that crazy amount of people. Like people have been pretty good, but also, like I ask people if they want to be on camera too. So it's not like
He's
I'm going
very
up
good
to
about it.
people, right?
He's
So
very good.
that's also a main difference with I prefer to do it like this because it avoids people being like, I don't want to be in this interview anymore or the next day or messaging because it's a pain in the ass if you edit an entire video and you have to take it down. Like I tell people, I'm
Mhm.
like, if you do
He
this,
gets he gets a video, like he starts off each
oh,
interview asking
yeah,
for consent on camera, which I don't
yeah,
think a lot of people do.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like, here's the thing, like there's a lot of, we're in a public place, so like the legality of all that stuff is like, it's one of those things where I'm not super concerned with it, honestly. If I really wanted to post these videos, like I could. We're in a public place. I just do it more for the sake of so they're like processing the fact that this is going on the internet and
Yeah.
it's always going to be on the internet. Like people will ask like, "Oh, how many followers do you have?" I'm like, "That's a dumb question. You should what if I have 100 followers? What if it goes viral? Are you going to be okay with
Yeah.
that?"
Yeah.
And I always say
Follower
I'm like,
count means nothing nowadays.
No,
"Yeah, that's what
you
I
you
mean."
could
I'm
have
like,
like 50
it,
followers.
people
Doesn't matter.
have 100,000 followers and then can get like 3,000 views. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like anymore. A good video will go off, and if it is interesting, like it can happen. So just if you're okay with being on there, but for the most part, like I haven't had that really happen yet, so that's good. Did have it happen when I was doing Sammy on the sidewalk. So I had one guy like do it because he says like some crazy shit, like how he wanted to like eat people, and then he messaged me the next day, and then I didn't respond to him, and then he threatened to sue me. But he was like also like a 15-year-old. How old was I when I did that? I think I was 19, 19, 20. Yeah, I think I was 19. And he threatened to sue me. I was like, dude, you're like 16 years old. What are you like? You're in the States. Like, like, what is going on? I was so confused. I was like, he wants to sue me. I was like, dude, I didn't even get a chance to respond to your first email. Like, chill, relax about threatening like a lawsuit. Also, there's nothing to sue over. But I took down his clip anyway, so it was just like, whatever. I don't care for the headache.
So he was saying that he ate people?
Yeah. But like
I
he was
don't
saying
like
like
the way
Why?
you said
Why?
yeah.
he was like I don't know the exact clip, but he said something like, "Oh, like I eat like Muslim people," but he was like also Muslim, so it was like crazy. That's why I didn't get it. I was like, so the whole thing was confused. He's like, "Yeah, I love Trump. I'm Muslim." I was like, "I don't know what you're on about." But luckily on YouTube, there's a feature where you can cut out certain bits of clips. Like you can micro edit like within it. Like I
Okay.
could take out. So for me, I was like, okay, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. I don't have to
Just
take the
remove
whole
that.
video down. I can just remove
Yeah.
that like 5-second clip. So I did that.
Okay.
But yeah, like you deal with some interesting people when you're doing this, but that's also the nature of like nightlife. Anytime you're going out downtown, you're gonna encounter people, especially when you have like a microphone, but a lot of people like are super excited. They want to do it. They're like, oh my God. But I don't know. And then there's some people who definitely don't want to do it. Like I go up to them and I ask them like, hey, do you want to do it? And then they just keep walking. And then I
No,
just
like
let them go.
some people don't feel comfortable on camera, right?
Yeah.
Wait, so how do you deal with rejection then?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's a good question.
he's so great at it.
Oh, so like I'll give you an example. This is what I
I
always
get
say.
mad, he doesn't.
Like I don't really care. Like because here's my thing. I can't get angry about it because I'm on a high when I'm doing interviews. I need to maintain that. So I'll ask like for example a group of girls and I'll be like, okay, they're pretty attractive. Let me see if I can get them on camera. And then I'll be like, ladies, you guys want to be on a TikTok game show, win some money? I'll be like, no. And like sometimes they're a little rude potentially, but whatever. Like I don't take it personally. So I go, have a great night, ladies, and then I keep walking. And I don't even think about it. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
process the rejection from it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and you can't take those things personally.
Yeah.
And I feel like especially downtown at night, you can't have an ego about these things. Like getting rejected. Like you have to understand, like if people are rude to you or tell you things, or like I've had people threaten me, you just ignore them and you just say like you don't think about it. I literally just look at them, I'm like, oh, you're a child. Like I just imagine them as like they're stupid. Like they're like a 4-year-old. You're not gonna cuss out a 4-year-old. They're just stupid. They don't know anything. They're 4. And I imagine them as that. And then it like helps me not be as angry because I'm like, oh my God, it's just a 4-year-old. Like, yeah, they don't know any better. They've only lived for
But
4 years. And then I keep
so
walking.
how did you get to that point
Um,
of your mind being able to just do that automatically?
I think the biggest,
I think
honestly,
it's been a long time coming for him.
yeah, like it definitely took me a while, but even between my last whole social media being in that world was like a 2-year gap. So like I quit my job as a server, and when I quit my job, I decided I was gonna do this full time. So like people were asking me, even at my job, are you scared? I was like, no. I was scared the last 2 years, like while I was working here, I was scared because I wasn't doing anything. If anything, it's the opposite. I feel like I've overcome that fear where sure, do I know if it's gonna work? I have no idea, but I know that I'm gonna keep trying. And it's like it's almost I'm trying to think of the word. Um, it's like relief, but like there's a better word I'm looking for when you just when you decide you're taking action now. Like I have very clear goals in my head. So that's the
Well,
biggest thing. When you have a clear goal in your mind or you have something you're working towards, all those voices and the negativity kind of drown out because you're so
yeah.
focused on this. Like if someone threatens me, like on Saturday, someone threatened me. They're like, "Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?" I'm just ignoring them because I'm like, it makes no sense. Like it doesn't contribute to the goal. And at that
Yeah.
point, I'm protecting my ego. But like I don't care for that. They don't matter to me,
Yeah.
essentially.
I
Right?
also, yeah, yeah. I think in terms of what you were saying before about like being so focused on it too, when you're balancing multiple different things, it can be a lot easier to fall into that pattern of like maybe the negative thoughts or the fear. But when this is like what you're working on 24/7 and like all your energy is towards, like you're totally fueled into it, right? Like it's how
Well,
artists
yeah.
function, it's how all the creatives function, is you're
I think also with dealing with rejection is like you have to be pretty strong-willed or you have to know things. Like if you're the biggest issue with rejection and why it like fucks with people so much is because they're uncertain of themselves or what they're doing. So any
yeah.
negative feedback they're gonna get is gonna mess with their head. But when you know who you are or you know what you're doing, it honestly just becomes more noise than actual words. You're just like,
Real.
and now in the moment, like sure, like I'm gonna get heated. Now, how I react to it, like when he's saying that shit, I'm thinking to myself, I want to punch him in the face. I want to punch him so badly. But at the time, I'm like, I just ignore him. I'm like, okay, keep moving. Right. But that's also a little bit different rejection. That's like getting like threatened and like having to deal.
Yeah.
I guess that's more like people coming at you and having to deal with that. But just rejection
Yeah,
itself.
because you put yourself on the stage and
Yeah.
in an open
Yeah.
area to have people come at you, right? And like
Yeah.
unfortunately, when you're around drunk people, that's just the way it happens
Exactly.
sometimes.
But
And
also a big thing is like how I deal with rejection. I've had so much experience with rejection therapy, like to a point where I don't even realize that I'm doing these things anymore.
yeah,
Like there was trends on TikTok where people like day one of rejection therapy, I'm gonna ask for a free donut, like just to practice. like I would just do these things without even thinking. I'd be like, hey, let me go
Yeah.
ask for this. Let me go ask for
You've
that.
and that's what I mean when
Because
I
it's
said
just,
it's a long time coming, is because you've been doing this since high school. You've been doing this
yeah,
since you were, I feel like I've even in the 6 years that I've known you, I've watched you go through all these
Yeah.
different stages
yeah.
of it.
Like I
No,
remember I
some
was on the street one time and I barked at someone just because I thought like this was like years ago. I think I was like 18, 19 or something. It was the summer. I was like, I asked, I think I might have been with Ashley. I was like, yo, should I bark at them like for a joke? And she's like, yeah. And I just did, like without thinking about it.
I'm also very good at encouraging.
Yeah.
no. There's
Like,
one memory I have. There's one
yeah.
memory I have. It was in the summer. We were all having a picnic, and Wangle had his unicycle.
Oh yeah.
And there was this one point where he was riding the unicycle, chasing this old woman on the sidewalk, saying,
Oh
"I'm
yeah.
gonna get you. I'm gonna
Oh
get you."
yeah.
I To this
Yeah.
day, every time I think of that, I wheeze. It was so funny. It was
Well, because
so
even
funny.
still, I'm like, because you kind of just have to have fun with it, and like also like the other thing is I do a lot of crazy shit, but it's within a certain like me chasing after an old lady. It's like okay, oh he chased after an old lady. That's like bad. But oh wait, he's on a unicycle. Oh, he's like just nuts.
He's
Like
just going crazy.
he's just like he's on a freaking unicycle. This doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do a lot of crazy shit. It's never with like ill intent, but like I do a lot of stuff where I'm like pushing the boundary to try and like see like what can I do? Like how will people react? Like just to see,
Yeah.
try out new things, right? And
You're
that's why I'm like,
testing the social barriers.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, let me go up to this person and try and sing to them and just see what happens. So I've always like what I realized for rejection. Oh, what are you doing?
I was gonna say, and you know what? Dressing up as a leprechaun on King Street gets you
What?
free shawarma from
Oh yeah,
Alpha.
free shawarma. Oh, that was another thing. I dressed up as a leprechaun and this guy saw me and he was like, hey, do you
Louise
want-"
at Alpha's.
yeah, at Alpha's, he goes, do you want free shawarma? He goes, go to Alpha's, get free shawarma, say Louise sent you. And I was like, okay, bet. So we went and then we got free shawarma. So that was
That's
pretty sick. But yeah, like,
People love it because not everybody's doing it. Not everybody's testing the social barrier. Like if they see you, I think that whole rejection thing and the fear of rejection, yes, there's going to be a handful of people who reject you, but there's also going to be a handful of people who are like, yo, I fucking love what you're doing. And I like
yeah,
want to support you in any way that I
yeah.
can, because
Well,
it's not every day you see somebody chasing after something that they really, really want to do.
for sure. And I think the bigger thing with like, even if for someone who's like less motivated or less or like more shy, the best way to get into rejection therapy is to start asking for free shit.
Mhm.
Like literally just ask for free things because it's a lot easier to be like, hey, like you can go up to someone, what are the odds I can get a discount on this? Not necessarily haggle with someone or anything, but just like ask someone the stuff. Like just if you don't ask, like you're not going to receive. Like I always ask for things, even if I don't think I necessarily get it, but just ask. Like literally ask for everything, even if it's a little strange. You're like, oh, can I get a free donut? Maybe they have extra. Maybe they'll say
Where
no.
did
But
you get a free donut from? Because you keep saying free donut.
I mean, like
I want
Krispy
to
Kreme or
know.
something. Probably
no
like I don't
way.
know.
There we
But yeah,
go.
like if you go in, like you have to believe in your shit. Like you're like, what are the odds? Like you would give me like what would have to happen where I could get a free donut? Like what are the odds between like 1 and 10? Like what
Yeah.
are my chances of getting a free donut today?
Yeah.
Like zero being you're gonna throw me out of the
What's
restaurant
the
for even
worst thing
asking.
that could happen?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like that's a big thing. But rejection there, like it started from like a very young age, like putting myself out there and I built it over time. Like and also I did stand up for a little bit too, and that's also part of it. Like I literally get on a stage and I'll tell jokes and then for 5 minutes and no one laughs. So like for me, I'm very desensitized to that stuff now. And I think that's do I have a specific strategy for dealing with rejection? Not necessarily. I feel like I just have like an immunity to it
Like,
where I'm so desensitized to it. It's like when you watch enough horror movies, eventually it doesn't have the same effect. You need something more and more intense to like elicit that response. So for me,
Yeah.
most of the stuff I do is so normalized that for a lot of people it'd be like, wait, you're doing that? Like I showed up as a clown on a first date. Like I dressed as a clown. Like I have video of it. Now, she's not really a fan of letting me post that, but whatever, that's fine. But like I showed up as a clown. I didn't have the makeup on, but I had the full like costume and everything. That was
Yeah.
the
Or
first day, and I
like
just did it. And
we have a video up on social media of us
yeah,
going to fucking Value Village and you're dressed as a
yeah.
clown.
I
Like,
remember that.
And the girl, I went out with her for 2 months.
Damn.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah,
liked
she still
it.
ended things with me, but like, but it's still, but 2 months, that's pretty good.
No,
Hey, that's
I
above
think
average.
Exactly.
okay, wait. Can you, for those listening and for Mano, can you tell us the story that you used in your stand-up about the first date? I don't know
Oh,
if
the
it was from
Tinder?
Tinder. Yeah. Can you
Okay. If
give
I can
us
like remember, I'll tell a story. I gotta think of all the parts of
I
it.
think this will be
So
good.
I'll tell the shorter version of it. But essentially, I went on a date with a girl. I matched with this girl on Tinder, and this is when I was living in residence at Ryerson. And when I was there, I messaged her. She was in a different res, like on campus. Went to go pick her up. I was like, hey, let's go get ice cream. And I walked down to her building to like pick her up as like a gentleman. Like I'm walking over to like grab her from her building. And then her friends come down with her. So I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And as she comes over, like with her friends, she goes, oh, she says to me, what did she say? She goes, oh, yeah, they're just coming down here because they want to make sure you're not like a serial killer. Yeah, they want to make sure you're not a serial killer. So my response to that was, don't worry, ladies, I left my knife at home. And no one laughed. Like not even the girl I was on a date with, like no one laughed. It was super awkward. I was like, oh my God, we're off to a horrible start. So I'm like, shit, this is like really bad. Like
But
no
like,
one laughed. We just stood there. I could like for 5 seconds, just in silence. So then I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. Let's start going to get ice cream. So then we start walking over the ice cream. And she tells me, she's like, yeah, I'm really glad that like I finished all my exams and I'm done with everything now. And we go on the date, we enjoy each other. Well, we didn't enjoy each other's time. She didn't enjoy the time because like 30 minutes into the date with the ice cream, she's like, actually, I have to study for an exam. Can we like head out now? And I was like thinking to myself, does she not realize she just told me she finished all her exams 30 minutes ago? Like she told me she was done with everything and she's now using it as an excuse. And I'm thinking to myself,
I didn't know
what
that.
the? Yeah. So then me realizing that, I'm like, I'm not gonna bring it up. I had to walk her back home. Like it's dark outside. Like it's really dark. 20 minutes. And we're walking back. I'm thinking to myself, she doesn't realize what she told me earlier. I'm like, she is hating this date. And I was like, we had nothing in common, so it wasn't that great. But the point of the story is I try to be funny a lot, and a lot of times it doesn't work out. Like that's another example of rejection therapy. It's
Yeah.
making a joke and it not landing. Like the last thing a group of girls wants to hear is that, oh, I left my knife at home when they're dropping off to a man they've never met before.
Yeah. You don't look scary though.
No,
I
no.
know people tell
But
me I have like crazy eyes.
You definitely have crazy eyes,
Yeah, a
but
lot of
you
women
don't
have
look
been like,
scary.
yeah. No, I don't think I'm scared.
but
I'm very unintimidating. A lot of people think they could fight me. Actually, a lot of people try to fight me
Yeah.
constantly.
That's
An
another thing
issue.
that comes with testing society's barriers is
Yeah.
But
I've
you know what?
said
The Wangle's sweet. Under it, like you can tell, he's a sweet guy. He's a sweet guy, and also
Yeah.
it comes through. It shines through in your content as well. And like the thing is, Ashley told me originally when you were starting to do the Yap Street stuff, and so I started seeing you on my social media, and I every time a video of yours comes up, I have to watch the whole thing. Like I have to. I'm like, it's so good. The content is so good, and I feel like it's because you're able to put so much time now,
For
and
sure.
energy into your craft that it's like every time you post something, it's like, oh my God, it's captivating. You want to watch till the end.
And that's the goal, right? Like, and I'm realizing even now it's tough to make these like it's like learning about the algorithm, learning how to make videos, learning how to make videos that people want to watch. And this is when I did Same on the Sidewalk, it was long format videos. Well, long-ish, but it was 5 minute videos on YouTube. Whereas this, now it's like anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute long, which is nice because I can just focus on that one person, do that clip,
yeah.
and then post. And now I have so much more content, which is also really nice and it's making it a lot easier to grow. Like I
Yeah.
interviewed this guy the other day, or I think it was like 2 weeks ago. His name is It's Just Real. And he's this famous like prankster on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. And then I posted his video and I did the invite collaborator and he collaborated on the post. So when we did that, I got a bunch more views and like that's one of my most popular videos now. I think it's to like 20,000 views or something for on
Damn.
my Instagram. But then on TikTok, that video was at like 35,000 views and it got me like 60, 70 followers just from that
Yeah.
video alone,
Yeah.
which was nice. And like he collaborated with me on that and it helps boost my page.
What is that the guy that is from London and you
Yeah. He
yeah,
was from London and
one
he
of his
said, I'm born
lies.
in New York. And he had an accent and I didn't pick up on that. And then I said the lie that he had 1 million followers. I was like, I didn't believe that. But yeah, he was a crazy,
What
very good dude though. I liked him a lot.
what do you think you've learned the most about people ever since putting yourself back out there?
Like within the last like month.
Yeah. What's
Okay.
like one thing that you think you've learned the most? Because obviously times are different, people are different. What you're doing now is different.
I
Is
think
there anything?
I feel like I don't know, this isn't necessarily about people. I feel like people are less keen on wanting to be on camera. I feel like now there's a lot more hesitation. So, but also my approach to that is different, which makes the videos a lot easier. Like when I tell people exactly what they're getting in for the video, they're a lot more comfortable being on it. Where when I used to do the interviews, I would just say, hey, it's 5 questions. And then they'd go on and they'd be like, they don't know what the questions are going to be. I just like, I say it then. But with this, with the Yap Street, I'm doing two truths and a lie. So they know exactly what they're getting into. They can prepare, which I think makes people feel better about it. But in terms of like,
And you also get time for a crowd to build too. Because he
yeah,
gives them like 2 minutes to prepare. I turn the light on to get them like adjusted to the light, and people come and they like stand
yeah.
around and wait, right? Like
Wait,
people
can you
love to watch.
re-ask the question again? What?
What's like the one thing that you've learned the most about people since you've restarted what you're doing?
It's because I'm trying to think how much like I feel like my insight on people has been the same like over the course of like years rather than like in the last month.
Mm-hmm.
But people are oh, there are some people who really want attention. You can sort of like tell who those people are. Like you can kind of gauge them like, oh, some people really want attention. And that's the thing. And there's people who aren't like really thinking about the video. They just want to be on it. They want to be a part of something or they're really excited about it. But like I don't know if I have like a take on like what people are like. I think people like for the last month, I wouldn't say like my opinion on people has really changed. I feel like people
Okay.
are the same. I kind of they just are.
Yeah, I was
I
just
mean,
curious
I
because
would
it's
need
a
more
different
broader.
setting. Yeah, it's more just because you've structured things differently. I wasn't sure if like maybe there's something that's come up that you've noticed that's a little bit different or but
Oh, okay, maybe one thing. Because I used to film during the day, like if I'm gonna compare the two, there's a difference between filming people at night versus filming people during the day. So that's a big thing. Number one, filming at night, it's a lot more of a younger demographic. And like younger when I say, I mean like between like 20 to 25. Whereas when I was doing interviews before, I was getting like way more sparse, like getting people who are like anywhere from like 15 to like 50. Like the gap was way bigger.
hey,
Whereas this,
you had a 50-year-old on your lap the other day.
oh yeah,
What?
that actually I did. Like, but I mean for the most part, like the majority of the people were like are around in their mid 20s. Whereas
Mhm.
like before when I was doing it, I was at the like mall. So I'm asking like huge range of
Yeah.
like different ages of people, all that, asking all these different people questions. And then it's, but it, the range changes constantly. Whereas this, it's because it's nightlife, everyone's around. Like, sure, you're gonna get some older people, but for the most part, everyone's around 20, 25,
Yeah.
which is nice because I like that because everyone's young, kind of exciting. But I have thought about doing like an episode of Two Truths and a Lie in an old age home.
You should do it. You should do it.
Like
Oh,
that
that would
was
be
another bit I was thinking about. I was like, what if I go to an old age home and I do it the
You
reti
should.
like the retired series.
retired.
Yeah, like the retireds.
So would you just look like go into the old age home and just ask them like, hey, can I film a
You'd
video
probably
here?
have
And
to
just like
call ahead of
Well,
time.
I'd ask, but I feel like they have like nothing else to do, so they'd be like entertained by this. I feel like they'd wanna, I don't know, I feel like an old age home is boring. Like what do they have to do besides each
Like
other?
cards.
Like no, but it's true. Like literally they have the highest like like rating, like, dude, they all have sex with each other and they do all this because there's nothing to do. So they're constantly just like,
Remind me of that if I ever choose to put my parents in an old age home.
yeah,
Oh
guess what?
God.
There's gonna be they're gonna join the pineapple club, okay? Upside down pineapple. That's what's gonna happen. But anyways, besides that, like I just feel
Mano,
like
do you understand that reference?
No.
the upside
No,
down pineapple
it's a
reference,
swinger
yeah,
reference, yeah.
Oh, swinger reference.
references
Okay.
swing. It's like the national symbol for swingers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was a
Like,
star.
no,
Or
no,
like
no,
the garage
Upside
halfway
down.
open. The garage kind of like a little bit open at the bottom. I thought that was like a swinger thing.
no, those might be the Satanist. Oh no, that's the I don't know. Every thing has their own. Christians, they have the
Um,
cross.
question.
Swingers have the upside down pineapple.
Question. Question. I don't like that you're
Yeah,
tying in religion and swingers.
yeah.
What do you hope people feel when they watch Yap Street content? What
Mhm.
is your intent behind this?
Hopefully joy. I mean, if they're not feeling joy, that's gonna be an issue. Like, I want them to be excited by the content. I want them to watch it. I want to build an audience that can keep me going. Like, I want to make a career out of this, be able to fund myself through doing this style of videos. Like, my
Yeah.
end goal is to be the love child of Guy Fieri and Jimmy Fallon. Right? Like, that is the dream. But I realized like the most important part, especially with the when I decided to quit my job, was it honestly doesn't matter where you start, but you just need to start building momentum,
You know
right?
what?
Like pick
I
a
love
direction, start walking.
I love that we're able to have this conversation because I feel like our friendship is so like not automated, but in a sense it is because we've known each other for so long
Mm,
that we don't always have the time to sit down and have these deep conversations. And so hearing you say these things, they're not usually the usual things that I hear coming out of your mouth, right? And
yeah.
like it makes me really happy to know that
Mm,
these are things that you are thinking about
yeah.
and that you do have like a vision for yourself, right? Because I want
Yeah.
to see you succeed and I want Yap Street to be
Yeah.
the most well-known street interview account
Sure.
out of Canada, let
Yeah.
alone
Yeah.
Ontario,
No,
right?
exactly. And I want to be able to
Watch out,
build
safe.
from it. What's actually funny though? That whole thing made me think of something right now where I was like, there's a clip that Ashley has of me where I think we were probably drunk or maybe we are high, and I go, you know, I don't say a lot, but I do. Wait, oh, I forget the exact fact. It's
I
like,
say a lot,
no,
but do
no,
I
no, I know
really
what it
ever
is. I
say a
know.
lot?
Yeah. I was like, I say a lot, but do I really say a lot?
No, you were hungover or you were
Yeah, we were
drunk
like
or something.
hungover or something, and I was just alluding to the fact that like I speak so many words, but only about half of them have actual meaning.
Yeah.
Like most of it's just filler or just like
Word vomit.
randomness.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like I'm always trying out like different bits and trying out different things, so I'm constantly
I think
on the go.
I think if you were to be a role model for anything or anyone, it would be acting on your impulses. And
Is that a
like
good thing?
and I mean that
No,
in like
take action over inspiration. Action
Oh
yeah,
over
yeah.
and
inspiration.
like I mean that in the best way possible. Like even Mano recently, I've told him I feel like one
Yeah.
thing I've been doing a lot more is acting on my impulses, even if it's just like stupid sentences that I say out loud, or like I'll make Mano film a video of me and like 1 second I'm standing up, the next second I'm laying in the snow. Right.
Yeah.
Like just like acting on impulses like that, I feel like it's it gets you further than you realize.
Ooh. You know what? It's a good saying. People like, especially when I was growing up, were always like, think before you act or like think before you speak. But honestly, at this point, I've realized I feel like, and I take this advice with like a grain of salt. I feel like you should act before you think. Like act and then think
Situationally.
later.
Yeah.
Situationally. Like
Situationally.
I just mean
Oh
like
my
if you're an
gosh.
overthinker, like
Yeah.
Oh
then
yeah, you
act
just got to do it. You
yeah,
got
like
yeah.
Absolutely.
you're thinking too much, but like getting in the mindset of just act first, think later, which you have to be cautious about. But I think for the most people are like sane, right? Like they're not like crazy like me. So just act before you think. You'll get a lot further,
Yeah.
right? And that'll make a huge difference where, because if you're constantly worried, how is this piece of content gonna work? How is this gonna make sense? It's like you're asking too many questions. You
Mhm.
just need to start moving. It doesn't matter if you don't know what you want to do, or even if it's the wrong, like literally into this journey, I was making storytelling videos every other day, and that was what I was going to do. A
Mhm.
week into it, I dropped it. Like I dropped doing
I
that whole
remember that.
thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to be doing interviews instead. Even though I said I was going to commit to it for 30 days.
Yeah.
But I realized I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
But it funneled into this. And I think
Exactly.
that's the most important thing is once you start like it doesn't matter if you don't know, as long as you're trying different things, you will figure it out.
Exactly. And it's sometimes I feel like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but when I don't know what to eat, sometimes I'll just start eating like one thing and then I'm like, oh, I actually want this thing. And then there actually is food in the fridge. And you realize like, oh, okay, maybe I want this. But you need to start like with one piece of food to start figuring out what you actually want to eat. And then you're like, okay, now I know what I want to do. Because you get like fridge paralysis where you're just looking at the fridge and you're like, what am I supposed to put in my mouth? So just put something in your mouth and then you'll figure out what you actually want to eat. And that's
Okay, see
basically what I
that
do.
that's a dangerous game because if I put one thing in my mouth, everything else is going in afterwards. I eat
That's what she
everything.
said.
Okay. And I think what we should do now is, Mano, I think you should ask our closing out question.
Yeah.
All right, Wangle.
But that was a great
This. Oh
analogy.
shit.
Yeah.
The fridge analogy was a great analogy for
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And
No.
just
and
don't use
I
it. Don't use
relate.
it in dating. That's
Yeah.
Relatable though. That is relatable. 'Cause I
Relatable.
sometimes will sit there and I'll look in the fridge for like 10 minutes and I'll just be like, wow, what is there to eat? And it'll be
Yeah.
full. And I'm like, but yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
Oh, I
So
had a thought. Unless you
yeah.
want to, I was gonna say about that relatable thing. You know, a lot of people are like, I want to make relatable content online. I don't want to make relatable content. I want to make unrelatable content. I want to make stuff that you look at and you go, what the fuck is he doing?
yeah.
That's just as a
Cool
side
stuff.
note when I think about like the stuff I
But
want to make.
that's how
Yeah.
we see you anyways. Is
Yeah.
what the fuck is he doing? So I think that'll
Exactly.
play out like in the nicest way possible,
No,
obviously.
of course.
But I think that'll play out into what you're doing.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he doing?
I don't know. He's eating cheese or something. See this? It's Wangle. It's Wangle. Okay.
Mm.
I don't like the way that you
So
put that
so
up out of nowhere.
so
I was kind of hungry. I wanted some
final.
cheese.
This is our question we ask all of our guests, right?
Yeah.
It is, what does embodiment mean to you?
Whoa. I think I need to know what the definition is first.
No,
Make it
no,
up.
No,
Make
no.
it up.
no.
I can make it
should
up.
be
Okay, embodiment.
whatever it
Okay.
feels like it means to you.
I think embodiment, if I can say it correctly, I think it's about embracing who you are, like having some identity or something, and then accepting that as your reality. And more, it's about embracing that. Like it's taking on a characteristic or a character and then putting that on. It's like seeing a red shirt and going, red shirt is my character identity, and then putting that shirt on. More as like a tangible way of seeing it.
Yeah, I love it.
Like if you were to put everything you want to be on a shirt and then you put that shirt on.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, that
Yeah.
was so prophetic. I loved it. I loved
Yeah,
it.
see?
And
Well,
it's so
Me
cool
think
'cause
big
everyone has a
things.
different
Me big brain smart.
me
big
big brain
brain.
smart. Big
Yeah.
Mr. Big Brain Smart. Can you
academic
Yeah.
weapon.
can,
Yes.
can you tell everyone who's listening where they can find you on social media?
So you can find me on social media. So my personal account is Sammy_Wengle. And then for Yap Street, it's literally just Yap Street across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at YAPSTR. Oh, not the burp. EET.
Yap Street, y'all.
Yeah,
No.
it's literally just
At
Yap,
Street.
No,
Yap,
because when we
YP,
were
and then Street.
recording, he was doing an interview the other day and he started talking and he went, 1 second. Sorry, I had to burp.
Yeah,
And it
'cause
was
I
cold outside. So he burped and you could see the steam rise.
I didn't know that. I'll have to look at that video and see it. Did you
That's
get it
how
on
we-
camera?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude,
Yeah.
that's funny. Okay, I'll have to watch back those clips.
Well, thank
But
you for joining us and
Mhm.
having what I'd say is, I don't even know how I would describe this conversation. We never have
a journey.
Yeah.
A journey.
A
It's
dive
he-
into the journey, like showing us
Yes.
a little bit more
A peek into
insight.
Sammy Wengle's brain.
Yes,
But-
exactly.
But I love it, and I think that like your content speaks for itself in terms of the love and quality you put into it and the effort that you put in. Because again, it's not easy to do the content that you're doing, and the fact that you're doing it and you're doing it so well.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I can't wait to
Appreciate that.
see. I can't wait to see more. And again, I'm a loyal fan. Every time a video comes out, I will be watching it. So
Yes.
I hope that everyone else listening will go and check it out as well, just so
I've
they can
sent the
see
videos
how
to my whole family.
amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I hope they do. And hopefully it continues to grow. But thank you for having me. And you can't spell embodiment without I.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of Embodiment, Who You Are Behind Closed Doors. If you ever have any questions, leave a comment, send us a DM at embodiment.pod on Instagram.
Or click the link in our bio to join our community. We are so grateful for you guys and the growth that we get to experience with you. I am so proud of you.
No, I'm proud of you.
No, I am.
No, me.
I said it first.
No.
No.